This week's episode of I Have Today is brought to you by the Spifter. The Spifter is a fun sifting spoon that makes cooking, baking, and decorating with sugars and spices so much fun. No more mess or wasting your spices. It's fast, clean, and easy. Everything looks and tastes delicious. It's also great for straining loose tea, getting pesky broken cork out of your wine glass, and draining liquid off food like olives and capers. Whether you're a novice cook or a gourmet chef, you'll love the results. The Spifter, the kitchen gadget that no kitchen should be without. Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, educates, and empowers you through life's transitions. And each week on this show, I bring on the coolest, most amazing, awesome CEOs, entrepreneurs, experts, artists, and truly global leaders and world changers who've gone through their own transitions in life and have come out on the other side successful. And they come here with us to share their stories of transition with you. And so this week I am so excited to have not one but two guests in the studio, an old friend of mine and a new friend of mine. I have Mikey Adam Cohen. Hey Mikey, how are you?
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited to have you in the studio. We've been trying to do this for a while. And then we have Darryl Walker in the studio, who I just got the privilege and honor of meeting today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So great to have you guys in the studio. So what we do on this show each week is we have a theme for the show that ties in what we do at I Have Today with what our guests do, and then we share our intention statement. So our theme this week is this: finding your life's purpose through music. And music is a universal language that connects us all. And these two gentlemen are entrenched in this industry. And we're going to talk about what that means to them and then the impact and the influence that they're having in the world with what they do. And then the intention statement is this. So if you're writing it down, here we go. I have today to reclaim my spiritual gifts and soul's purpose, because that's what we're here to do, is really connect with that. And I think when you hear both Mikey's story and Darryl's story, you're going to hear that connection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Mikey first. I'm going to read Mikey's bio first and share his story, because Mikey and I met a few months ago and really just clicked and hit it off, and we've been playing and doing stuff ever since. And I said, he's had me work. I've done work with him, and now I said I really want to have you on the show. So Mikey Adam Cohen is a music entertainment influencer firmly entrenched in smooth jazz, rock, hip hop, R&B, and EDM. Mikey has a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Communication Design with an emphasis in Media Arts from California State University, Chico. Co-founder of Smooth Jazz Live, an online contemporary jazz magazine, and a very large Facebook group with over 100,000 members. He is also a TV show co-host and social media concierge for Inside the Music on LA Talk Radio, live in 164 countries. He's got a long-time history with activism as well. Lending his voice and mentoring to the LGBTQ youth and wanting to make a difference, he set out to work with then Mayor Maureen O'Connor of San Diego to change our school system and the streets of San Diego by being a part of the Mayor's Youth Summit. While doing that, they made changes in the school system to create a purpose-driven curriculum that can combat violence and gangs on the streets and in our schools, also making changes in arts. Along with his father, Jack Cohen, they both share a passion for photography, which led to them creating their YouTube video channel, which has over 3.1 million views and hits, and counting. Mikey's latest passion is on the steering committee with K's, an organization founded by Stedman Graham through his network and work. And Mikey's current work and passion is centered around his powerful influence as an impactor. And we're going to talk about that. Hello, what a bio you have.
Thank you. Thank you so
You
much.
are no slacker.
Thank you.
So Mikey, the first thing I want to do is find out, a little bit about your story. I know you've been entrenched in the music world pretty much your whole life because of your family.
Yeah, so my father is known in San Diego and across the world as Mad Jack. and had a chain of stereo stores growing up, and they sponsored most of the concerts in San Diego and sports games. So I've been in music pretty much my whole life.
Wow. So I didn't know that's how he started, because he had those stereo stores.
Yeah, so he had the stereo stores, and he started off by just like, he had such a drive to create the business that he started off by just taking then 8-track tapes at this local swap meets and having people trade their 8-track tapes for records and LPs, and then now it's CDs and now
digital.
it's even and digital. So, but
Right.
he started off then and VHS tapes, and people would bootleg their own like audio tapes and trade them, and then he'd sell them, and like it just became a huge stereo business. He had 7 stores throughout San Diego, and KGB Chicken was involved, and it was so great because everywhere we went, people would be like, "You're Mad Jack, you're Mad Jack, you're Mad Jack." Like it was just like everyone knew who he was, and it was like Crazy Eddie on the West Coast,
Yep.
and Mad Jack on the East, and he just really was in San Diego, and everyone knew who he was, and it was great. But it was just like you couldn't escape it.
Yeah.
You know? Everywhere we went, people wanted to like come up to us
Celebrity.
and come up to our table. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
funny that you said that, because I
Yeah.
was going to mention
Yeah.
Crazy Eddie because I grew up on Long Island, so I'm well familiar with that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so you have been around this industry for a long time, and you're really focusing now on your becoming an impactor.
Yeah.
Why? What does that mean for you?
Well, so I really wanted to find my own place in this world, and I was so busy working, going wherever people needed me to go, covering their shows. I mean, I love smooth jazz, and my father got me into smooth jazz, but I was going everywhere everyone wanted me to be all the time, and I wasn't taking time to really take care of myself and put myself first. And it wasn't satisfying for me after a while. I mean, I was just running everywhere everyone wanted me to go, and I was spending all kinds of money on their shows, and it seemed like they took me for granted. So I just like, when it came down to it, I realized like this isn't working for me, and I felt used. I did feel used, but I see their budgets, and I see what they're working with and their constraints, and I do want to help, but I'm a lot more selective and a lot more picky when it comes to what I do these days, because for me to make an impact on the world, if there's something that I'm doing and I'm part of, and they're not supporting me in what I'm doing, like just voting for me, like it started off just voting for me on a regular basis for the Next Impactor. I saw who was voting for me. I saw that who was making simple donations and whatnot. This guy stepped up to the plate. So like there's certain people that are in your life for the long haul and want to support you in everything you do, and there's others that just want to keep using you until there's nothing left.
Yes.
Like the giving tree, you're the stump by the end, and why'd you waste all those years? So the Next Impactor is an incredible opportunity, and I was working the City Gala, which I love and I've done before as media for Ryan Long, and it's
love Ryan.
He's such a great guy, and there's so much greatness that happens there, and there's just like a bunch of great people looking to change the world and make a huge impact, and they're so selfless, and yet they have agendas they're pushing or whatever, and they want you to sign up for, but it's all to benefit you in your life, and it's a great place. So in that whole process of doing that, I happened to share a room with 4 girls, and these 4 girls were the coolest. I went in there knowing
This is great.
just one of them,
Yeah.
just one or two of them, and so I said, and they didn't have room for me. They brought me a inflatable mattress, and I slept on the floor. And they all needed the bathroom because they're ladies and all this. So then, after being there, like one of them was that Misty Lane that I just told you about, and she's been a huge impact on me. And her story is deep, and I won't get into it. But what it taught me was, she said, "Mikey, why don't you join the Next Impactor? We're all doing this." So I joined late. I joined the Next Impactor super late, and there was like 500 people that joined when I joined or whatever. And then come to find out, like they narrowed it down. So then I was in the top 50, and now I'm in the top 25. So like, it's super cool that I'm still involved, and it's taught me to like really shape my movement and create a vision for myself. And so I don't know if you know this, but let's say you're motivated. If you're motivated, and so motivation plus empathy, if you have empathy towards others, my whole thing is everyone in my life has to be transparent and authentic. Mm-hmm. And my platform, everyone I work with has to have those two goals, just like me. I mean,
they have to have those qualities.
Qualities, yeah. Because I don't want to work with anyone that's fake or phony or in my life for the wrong reasons. So you take motivation plus empathy and authenticity, and you get a movement.
Yeah.
And that equals movement. And so I'm looking to create a movement, and now my platform under the Influence TV is highlighting influencers and people that meet those qualities and want to create movements all across the world and share their stories, and let's work on global transformation. So that's what I'm working on now.
Well, this is why we're so in alignment and why we click so well, because isn't it interesting? You said a lot of things in there that first of all, the terminology impactor is you stepping up to your light, shining it, and allowing other people to do the same thing. And I love that there's companies, groups, organizations, people out there who are creating these opportunities for a contest for people to bring out the best in people anyway.
Right.
It's not a competition like you're all supporting each other.
Yeah,
which is so beautiful.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I would say you nailed it. That's a beautiful thing about the Next Impactor is the winner gets $500,000 in coaching, a book deal, like a platform for a television series, all this great stuff. But throughout the competition, we've pretty much, just by working with each other and having all of us as a team, we can now really do anything we want to do in life just from all the people we've met through the competition. And they're so supportive. They're more supportive than any other people I know.
Yes.
Other than you two.
Yeah.
They believe in the same mission. And I believe in all their missions. Like every one of them, from sex trafficking. One of them had been sexual trafficked her whole life, and she didn't even share any of this, and now she's with her husband and they have this great life, and she never even told him the story. And now we're learning about it with her, and so is he, and he's supportive. And so her whole platform is this is still existing.
Yes.
Why? She was one of the lucky ones to get out.
Yeah.
And and it stemmed from all she did was go on a date with this great guy who then sold her to the business. So like I did a keynote not too long ago, but it was on this very topic because I didn't know anything about this.
Right.
And so then
it's rampant.
And it's rampant.
Yes.
And it's out there. So I did all my homework and I talked to her, and I couldn't even believe this was still happening in today's society. So, and that's just one of the people that's making an impact. There's this great guy named Christopher Kaysen who's autistic and he's challenged, and he's a photographer, an artist, a painter, and his full self-expressed self is some of the best I've ever seen. Like he's the most incredible person, and he does lives and a talk show, and he had me on his show. And part of being autistic is they say what's on their mind at any given time. So at the end of the interview, he's like, "Well,
the good and the bad, no matter what it is,
the good and the bad comes out." And
no filter.
Yeah, no filter. So at the end of the interview, he's like, "Well, we keep talking, and I don't know when you're gonna stop or when I'm gonna stop, and I don't know how to end this." I said, "You just did. It's over. It's over. We had a great time. Thank you for having me."
Okay, so On Purpose Create TV. Talk about that.
So it's On Purpose Creative.
Oh, creative.
It's spelled on purpose.
TV.
I use the C, the 8, and TV. It basically On Purpose Creative. In my process of finding myself and finding what I wanted to do for myself in life, I was given a TV contract, which I won't go into details of, but what that, and it's still being worked out with my lawyer and whatever else. So whether it happens or not, it's put me in a place to realize that it can happen and that I want it to happen, and that's probably what I want to do the rest of my life is highlight people that are making a huge impact on my life, and if they're not known in the world, make them known and whatnot. So on Purpose Creative, I read Stedman Graham's book, and it's about finding your own identity. Now he's married to Oprah, and
partnered with her.
Partnered, not married. Partnered. Let's cut that out. Partnered with Oprah, and she has an identity, and it's really strong. So part of him, going on this journey with her was he needed to find himself. And he did, and he started off as a trash man, and just and it was a hard struggle being with someone that had such a powerful persona, and he found his identity. And so after reading that book, I needed to find mine, and I never thought that I'd be working with him or influenced by him, and the opportunity came about through a media organization that I was a part of, and they brought me in under a false pretense, but I ended up getting such a strong, I don't know what you want to say. I ended up realizing that my work within the organization that he started, K's, which is an incredible organization, bringing a purpose-driven curriculum for youth.
Yes.
Ended up.
I'm part of that as well.
Yeah.
So it's K's Community Alliance for Youth Success, and it's co-founded by Stedman Graham and Bobby DePorta.
Yeah.
Right, and they are about really empowering the youth to really find their purpose and passion at a young age and giving them the tools.
And so then after reading that book and just putting that on the back burner, and then having the opportunity to then be of service to Bobby and Stedman, it was like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
And the other part was I had been born disabled, so I was born with an extra female chromosome that has debilitated me my whole life.
Wow.
And it's so my hand-eye coordination was never there, and I was never able to be the sports hero that my father wanted me to be. So that was part of the reason we bonded through music. My dad had been loving smooth jazz music, and we had been going to shows at Spaghettini and all over the world on the Dave Koz cruises. And then it gave me a chance to have a new relationship with my father, and that was through music. And I think music gives that opportunity to bring everybody, encompasses everybody. So there's one other thing I wanted to just bring up around K's was part of that journey and not being able to do things as a kid. And I went through super camp, and Bobby DePorta, who started K's, she started super camp, which is a whole camp where it teaches kids that there's people that are in the world for you, and that you could fall back on, and you have to trust in people. And so we climbed a ropes course, and we'd walk this 500 foot off the ground tightrope, and then you have to realize that someone in that camp that you're in with you is going to catch you.
Yes.
And you have to let them
trust
in them to be there for you. And then it's a whole ropes course like that, and a whole motivational series. And I can't thank Bobby DePorta enough, and now she's an incredible new mentor for me with this organization. I can't thank her enough, and I
she's
want to do everything
amazing.
I can.
She sold that curriculum all over
the world.
I mean, it's like a $40 million program that she sold. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
So it's great. Wow.
So
Okay.
so with those two people as my new mentors, of course I'm going to be of service to them, and I'm going to do everything I can. And then me having the background of creating the purpose-driven curriculum with the school districts through the Mayor's Youth Summit, I think it's a win-win for me to serve them.
Yes. Yeah, and so what you just said is everything that I do here, which is you are all these facets of the diamond, like the photography piece of it and your ability to connect with people, your big heart, your passion for this, how you connecting all of those things and creating something tangible with purpose and moving forward that way. So it's so great. Well, Mikey just had me on his team for the Smooth Jazz Festival in San Diego, and we had a ball. We had so much fun.
The third annual San Diego Smooth Jazz Festival. And I just asked her out of the blue, and I know I've seen her work and I've seen her show, and I've met her as a person, and I really think now going forward, when I have a media team and I'm able to take people to an event, I want people like Diane that lead and know exactly what to say, and their personalities and their intention is so strong that it's going to rub off on the artists they work with. The artist can then be on her show, and make a difference, and it's a win-win for everybody. Mm-hmm. So when you have someone that looks the part like you, that speaks the part, that lives in the moment, that's down to help others and change people's lives, anything possible that's great out there can happen. You really did a great job, and I commend you. Yeah,
thank you. Well, it was a pleasure. I was honored to be able to do it. Okay, so Mikey, how do you live the I Have Today way?
So I live the I Have Today way by making sure that I'm reminded of my childhood, but that now that I have today, to really allow myself to put myself first and help others, and making sure that everyone's purpose becomes my purpose. I want to make sure that my life is about service. As long as I'm here to help, I'm here to serve. But I need to do that in a way that represents myself in the best way possible, by surrounding myself with people like you that allow me to be my best self, I think.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, now we're going to switch it over to Darryl Walker, who's been so nice and patient sitting here.
I'm learning things I didn't know. This is great.
Doing the whole volley back and forth. So, okay, Darryl, so welcome to the show. Let me read your bio. Here we go. Darryl Walker has been blessed with incredible talents that he can share with us is truly a gift. Since early childhood, when he could belt out "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" with the passion of Otis Redding, Darryl has entertained and enthralled us with his amazing voice. Add to that his ability to blend sensuality and power through his saxophone, and it's easy to see what has made this sensational artist the performer of choice for so many across the nation and around the world. His awe-inspiring natural talent, dedication to his craft, personal warmth, and sincerity converge with each vocal and every instrumental solo. His performances easily command devotion as much as they bring sheer joy to his audiences. Specializing in R&B, pop, blues, and jazz, Darryl has lit up live shows and recording sessions in lead and supporting roles for a bevy of labels: Taboo, A&M, Motown, Mesa Blue Moon Records, and Northern Blues. So universal is his appeal, Darryl's been the vocalist of choice for the pre-production team of world-renowned Latin artist Luis Miguel. Two of those tracks, Misterios del Amor and Vuelve, did I say that right? Vuelve, are part of the albums Luis Miguel's Greatest Hits and 33. His tour de force bilingual efforts merely skim the surface. Darryl's an active voting member of the Recording Academy's Los Angeles chapter. As a member of AFTRA, he's backed guest stars on The Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson and sang jingle demos for Dole, Pringles, Toyota, and Honey Nut Cheerios. And Darryl used to be an aerospace engineer, and he left behind that cushy job to follow his passion and purpose. So welcome to the show. Well,
That's
cushy
great.
in the way,
That's
of the cha-ching, right? Right? So, okay. So, Mikey, you wanted to have Darryl on the show.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, because I believe that anyone's purpose that that values themselves and values their purpose as strong as I do. So like Darryl, like you just said, yeah, aerospace engineer. This is a perfect example of someone that is following his life's purpose. Aerospace engineer could be doing that the rest of his life, making a
decent amount of money.
and that shows like how sophisticated and how his brain works and his intellect. And when you see a Darryl Walker performance, it's that same intuition, let's say, is there. He from start to finish of his show, you're wowed.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he opens his mouth, you're wowed with his voice. As soon as he plays the saxophone with finesse and his tone is so spot on, it's like it's rich and it's sweet and it's sensual and it's just a great moment. So I
stick around because we are going to stay till the very end because we are going to have Darryl do a little performance for us, and treat us with that. That's awesome.
So yeah, over the years I've grown to know him, and he's a local SoCal person, and I think he's just phenomenal in everything he does. And I wanted you guys to get a little glimpse of that.
Well, I'm so excited
to
be friends with you now and acquainted with you, and can't wait to follow you. So, okay, so Darryl, tell us a little more. I mean, I read your incredible bio, but a little bit about your story.
Interesting. This whole journey into full-time music, I guess is what we'll call it. I began in the aerospace industry with McDonnell Douglas, the corporation in Long Beach, and worked my way from the manufacturing line as a sheet metal worker all the way through to systems and learning the whole aircraft and different aircraft, commercial, fighters, even missile systems and the rockets that they built in Huntington Beach for sending up satellites. Did all that, and then it got to a point where I wanted to do more with that, and so my manager at the time approached me and asked if I wanted to become an instructor. And I said, "Wow, instructor? Okay." Well, we had this process to train people to do that there internally, and I went into it, and the stage thing, because I was always a musician, so even when I was working there, I was a musician on the off time. But that musical stage thing allowed me to be a good instructor because I didn't feel frightened around people. I was comfortable speaking to people. So,
letting your light shine. I'm telling you.
It's funny. And so I thought, well, this is kind of a natural fit, so I guess I'll do this. Well, then he said, well, we want you to develop curriculum too. We don't just want you to be a talking head. We want you to use your knowledge, your experience. So I became a developer, which was a whole different aspect. But I enjoyed that because I got to go out and work with the engineering teams and develop processes and teach people how to build the products and maintain them and modify and repair and the whole gamut. So after that started happening, then we realized we were going to be bought by the Boeing company. So they bought our company, and I pretty much stayed in the same location and did the same job, although travel became more intense. So I was going to China, to Seattle, to the Midwest, all these places to do this job of teaching not only our internal employees but the military, because I was in the military also. So I related to them very well. But it just became this thing where it was becoming too stressful to enjoy anymore.
So what was the moment, if there was a moment or a one thing that made you just go, you know what, I need to walk away from this and pursue my passion in music?
It was two things that made this single decision. My health was going south. I was in a bad marriage, and just between that and the stress of 60-hour work weeks, and having a kind of manager, not the one I told you about that got me into the teaching, but another person, who at every opportunity, whenever I brought up the fact that I needed to have time off to do a musical thing on my own time, mind you, vacation even, that person would put up a roadblock and
Yes.
put me on some long 3-month assignment somewhere
Wow.
away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I didn't think about it, but when it happened 4 or 5 times, it became obvious that person was trying to obstruct
Yes.
my natural path.
That's
Yes.
too bad.
So that's the thing that drove me to just say enough.
Yeah.
That and the health issue.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2010, I just decided, you know what? I'm going full bore with this. I don't care what it's going to take. It's a leap of faith. I'm going to leave behind, a major income and jump into something I know nothing about in terms of what I can make or not.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the musical part. I knew how to perform right, sing, whatever. But, that's
To make a
not-
living at it full time.
That's
yes.
pretty
Very-
tough.
Oh yeah, well, you're preaching to the choir. I did the same thing. I left my very lucrative job at ABC and leapt and sold everything and moved out here with my clothes.
It's frightening,
and a
isn't
dream.
it? It's
Yeah.
really scary.
Yeah,
But if
hey,
you
look
really,
at us now.
Yeah, if you
Exactly.
believe in what it is you were put here to do,
Yes.
which in my case is touching people and motivating them and inspiring them and sharing this gift, this musical gift, I don't know what I'd be doing if I didn't honor that.
Right. Your health would still be, in jeopardy, and the debilitation would continue to keep happening. That's what was happening to me. You're buzzing along, and it's like you're numb in mediocrity, but things aren't great, and they're just getting worse and worse and
Right.
worse. And so, I also want to add in that I think that manager who kept putting up the roadblocks was the universe's way of saying, we're gonna push you to the point where you just leap. So,
Right.
because had you been able to do those gigs at the same time working, you would have continued down that path instead of this, which led you to an album, right? Which is called
Hold Me. That's
Hold Me.
My foray into the artistic world as a solo artist.
I love it. I love it. That's
I've
great.
I've done group things and been part of groups on the albums, like the bio says. But this particular journey was really an eye opener because I didn't know how much skill I had in so many areas until I actually went to do this. Because you start thinking, well, oh yeah, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. Oh, it's all stuff you've done, but you just don't remember.
I love how we connect those dots going back. You don't know at the time what you're doing is going to be used at some point later in your life, but then when you need it, there it is.
And sometimes you even resist.
Yeah.
It's good for you. It's good experience, but you resist because I'm tired. I don't know. Oh man, I have too much on my plate right now. But if you just take it for what it's worth and keep the right perspective, you'll gain something from it.
Yes.
And then meeting incredible people.
Yeah.
When I met Mikey and Jack Cohen, it was, I guess in 2013, somewhere around there. These guys blew me away because I have a photography background, and I loved watching them get so excited about the prospect of catching great moments with artists on stage.
Yes.
And it took me aback. I'm like,
It's fun.
they're not like the other guys that come in here and try to sell me on hiring them to do this. Because the ones that do that, they really just want to get into the show.
Yes.
Because if they knew what the margins were for doing those local
you can't make
performances,
money doing that.
you can't-
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you want me to pay you $400 to take pictures tonight, and these guys on stage here are going to each get about $150 each, and at the end of it, I'm hoping I sold enough tickets to pay myself.
Right.
Because usually in some of those cases, you're paying the band, you're doing rehearsals and renting rehearsal studios and feeding them and
Okay,
doing.
so talk about doing it right. The ones that are like his caliber, yeah, they're having rehearsals. So you're having to pay the other people in your band for the rehearsal.
Right.
Now, when he's talking about having a rehearsal, he might be talking about a full tour. He might be talking about just a single show, and so they only allot so much money for that show. And then you got to not only have the rehearsals so that so you're on top of your game with the other musicians so they know what they're doing. We also got to sell out the place.
Oh
Right.
yes, there is that part.
There's
The
that part.
marketing piece
Yeah.
is huge.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't pack the place, they have the artists required to do that. That's when we step in and we help through our influence.
That's great.
Because then they won't be allowed back, and
Yeah.
here they you've invested so much.
It looks bad,
Yeah.
And he always invests in himself. Like every show, he brings it to the next level.
Oh, that's great.
I really think it's important. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really think it's important to do that because you can't just be complacent and keep doing the same thing. I mean, once you've done it and you've saturated your audience, what are you going to do? They've already seen that. Next, there's so much competition.
And not only that, you would be singing the same set over and over and over again. Like that gets old and boring too. Like you want to up level it.
And some artists do. I mean, we've seen them for like 10, 15 years. And
same set.
Same shtick, same set.
I've been out on the road, seen lots of speakers, a lot of motivational speakers, and it's the same speech.
That's true too. That's true too. You're right.
How is that motivational?
You're right. You're right. In the motivational world, it's the same too.
The motivator is not motivated.
You're right. Yeah. So wow. Okay. All right. So we're gonna have you sing a little bit, but I want to ask you the question too. How do you live the I Have Today way? Intentionally.
I live the I Have Today way by knowing what my purpose is and honoring that in everything I do. So whether it's me on stage with what I'm doing or in a support role in another band, I make sure I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm on time, and I dress appropriately, I handle myself in public appropriately. And I want to be the guy that people call when I'm not doing my own thing. I'm helping them.
Yes.
To elevate their show. Bring attention to what they're doing, and when I have an opportunity to introduce them into a circle, a good example is Rebecca Jade, a singer that I completely adore as a human being and an artist. Very talented lady. I brought her into the circle that I was in, and she's done the same for me. It's a win-win. She's doing great things now. Her value is growing because of her talent and her demeanor and the way she is. It's just great to see that. And I think if more people had that mindset of helping each other, it would be great.
Yeah.
So I live that purpose by knowing what I'm here to do and doing it to the best of my ability.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So now we're going to hear from Darryl Walker off his solo debut album called Hold Me, the title track called Hold Me. All right, Darryl.
So long since I held you, baby, and here you are, I'm yearning for you now. I ache to touch you, and it's no surprise. I see you smile when you look into my eyes. Hold me, touch me. All I want to do. Anticipation builds as we embrace. The way I feel is written on my face. Hold me, touch me. Girl, I wanna be with you my whole
of that day's work, Mr. Grown and Sexy.
Woo! Getting serenaded in the studio today.
Thank you.
Okay, that's a sexy song. I love it.
And
Love
I think it has a new meaning.
Yeah, it's
now.
a completely new meaning,
Yeah.
right?
Does it? From when it was written? Okay.
From when it was written.
Okay.
It was written just from the perspective of what if
Yes.
this, what if that, if I had someone I really, really, really cared about, really loved, what would I say to that person? Hold me, touch
Yes.
me, love me. Well, now I have a fiance, the lovely Leilani Calgaro, and I'm thinking that this song has a whole new
That's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
was thinking.
Hey.
That's what I was thinking.
You're right about that.
You,
You're right.
to
Right on
you
target.
totally manifested that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
What would it be like? And pulled it in. Love it. That's what we're all about here. We love it, love it, love it. All right. Well, is there one final piece of advice that you would like to share, either one of you or both of you?
You go first.
You go.
All right. I would say, if
What would
I
you
had
say?
to share advice with anyone, with the concept of this I have today, it's really important. I went to watch the Dalai Lama speak on this very topic about not looking behind you because you can't change what happened yesterday, and not looking too far ahead because that hasn't happened yet. You can't really control that. But what you can do is live in the moment. Live for today, because when you are in the moment, you're putting all your energy in what's happening right now, you can be the most effective.
Love it.
Yeah,
Well
always
said.
always be present. Always try to be present at all times. Make sure that you're fully aware of your surroundings. You're fully into the conversations you're having with people. Don't zone out. Just make sure that you're in it to win it for them and for yourself. And you have today to make a difference and to live your best self possible.
Well said too.
Yeah.
Love it. It's been a pleasure having you both on. And the
Thank
thing
you.
is, this I Have Today covers everyone and everything, and it's so powerful what you're doing, the work you're doing, the impact you're making on the world, the impact you're making on your world, the world, because you changed your world too. And whatever the circumstances are that have us have these transitions and these reinventions, it's up to us to rise to the occasion, and you both are doing amazing work, and it's been an honor to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. All right, so this is Diane Forster. I just want to say one other thing. Let's remind you of what the theme and the intention was. Theme was finding your life's purpose through music, and music is a universal language. It touches all of us. And the intention statement is, I have today to reclaim my spiritual gifts and soul's purpose. So I want to encourage you to go to our YouTube channel at I Have Today with Diane Forster and subscribe. And if you are struggling in any area of your life, tap into our free resources, which are our mantra meditations, which are manifest love, manifest money, manifest success, and manifest happiness, because it is my belief that everything that we want in this world can be listed under those 4 categories. So they're there for you, help reprogramming any limiting beliefs or mental blocks you might have in your mindset, so that you too can have the faith and the strength to step forward and leap into your dream life. So that's it for this week's episode, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.